So I'm going to share my screen and share a little bit about our upcoming RFA, which is currently out. So you are here for the home-based services, supportive environments, request for application. And today we're going to go over a brief overview of Best Starts for Kids, an overview of the home-based services, reviewing the key elements of this home-based services supportive environments request for application, and provide an opportunity for questions. If you could please put your questions in the chat box, or if you're calling in, we'll have the opportunity to unmute at the end, and we'll do all questions at the end of this presentation. So Best Starts for Kids is a community-driven initiative that was originally approved by voters in 2015 and reapproved in 2021. It supports children and families from the prenatal period through 24 years of age to grow happy, healthy, safe, and thriving. The Best Starts investment is split up among a number of strategies, and we are currently talking about our Investing Early, which is our prenatal to 5 area of the levy. This is broken into a combination of direct services and integration support strategies. Home-based services is one of the direct services, and you can see community-based parenting supports, childcare health consultation are the other two. And we work alongside integration strategies to support the knowledge and resources across our community, such as universal developmental screening, infant and early childhood mental health, workforce development, innovation supports, Help Me Grow, lead and toxics, and early supports for infants and toddlers. We'll start with a brief overview of our home-based services strategy, which supports families from the prenatal to 5 period with ongoing relationship-based supports in the places that they live. Trained home visitors support those expectant parents and caregivers and families and community to reach their goals. When we think about home-based services, we kind of think about these 3 core elements of ongoing relationship-based support, a focus on the child and in turn the caregiver and broader kin group in the places that they live. At Best Starts, we invest in a range of supports, and we partner with programs that offer strategies along this spectrum. On one end, we have our nationally implemented models, so models that have been tested through research or evaluation, or use documented model evidence that's shown to produce positive outcomes in at least one comparison study. This is often in an academic setting. And some of these models with this criteria are Parents as Teachers, Parent Child Plus, Community-Based Doula Program, or Early Head Start. We also support partners who implement programs that are using community design models. Community design models were designed by and for a specific King County community, and they are implemented by that community in that community. And some of these programs include LEAP, De Colores, Centering Motherhood, Birth Doulas, Indigenous Birth Keepers, Pilamakua Family Connections Program, ELVES, Sheko Sheko Home Visiting Program, among others. When we talk about this work, we talk about partnering with organizations and programs in our community to implement direct services. And we also want to ensure that they have the capacity and supportive environment for those services to thrive. So we offer a range of capacity building supports for organizations. And this RFA is specifically targeting the environment and the context in which these organizations and providers and families live. This RFA is an opportunity to co-develop an environment in which home-based services can thrive. So it aims to co-create and hold space for a home-based services collaborative advisory group, and then working with this group of representatives to identify the community priorities, the actionable next steps, and then support the implementation of the goals of the home-based services community. It builds upon work that was initiated by the 2018 to 2022 Core Leadership Group. This group will identify and articulate the needs and goals of the wider home-based services community across King County, and then take steps to make change in a community-driven way. This body will inform decision making and support improvements within Best Start's home-based services strategy. And we also hope that this group will come to grow the capacity of the home-based services system and the steps they identify and take to create change. Diving a little deeper into this request for application, there is $184,152 available. The contracting period goes over a period of 3 years, starting July 1st, 2024, and running through June 30th, 2027. The application is due at 3 p.m. on April 16th, 2024. And it says no funding request limits because there's no maximum amount to be requested. We only have the $152 within this RFA, but it would be helpful to see the full scope of your budget, and you can have more details of this in the budget narrative. We'll get into that a little bit deeper in a moment. So what this RFA is looking for and the scope of the work is really looking for that facilitating organization or a partnership of organizations to begin by conducting the outreach, the recruitment, assemble and convene the home-based services collaborative advisory group. It should include families and providers with representation from diverse communities across King County. This facilitating organization or partnership of organizations will formalize the groups, and together they will develop values, operating procedures, roles, and regular meetings. They will gather input and feedback of the group to equitably inform decisions, continuously provide a platform and support for the group to pursue home-based services community priorities, implement a culturally responsive data collection process, participate in a review of our Best Starts home-based services data, and collaborate on continuous quality improvement steps with the Best Start team, participate in data collection efforts by Best Starts evaluation team, and participate in regular project management meetings with Best Start staff such as myself. The goal is by this organization or the partnership of organizations being selected to bring about this core leadership group, that they will be able to develop and sustain the home-based services collaborative advisory group, including those families, community-based organizations, and King County system partners, and that the result of this collaboration will build and support the capacity of the home-based services system across our community by providing ongoing input and feedback on system decisions and improvements. The application requests a 3-year budget be completed by all applicants. This will include all costs for implementation, covering your proposed goals, activities, and outcomes. You can see more information in section 4. Please consider that costs are reasonable and justified, and that your budget is complete and aligned with the proposed activities. There is a budget narrative section to provide more context. You can see the funding structure in this table, which is also within the RFA. It begins with a pot of startup funds, and then you can see that every year the base funds has a slight increase to respond to increased costs of living. This opportunity is open to non-for-profit organizations, community-based organizations, tribes and tribal organizations, schools and school districts, public or governmental agencies serving communities in King County. Small nonprofits and community-based organizations are encouraged to submit applications, and partnerships are also eligible to apply. If you are applying as a partnership, please have one organization agree to serve as the lead and contract administrator. Applicants are required to meet the 2 minimum qualifications. The first is having 3 years of experience working in King County, and the second is demonstrated experience coordinating and facilitating work groups, coalitions, or other community-led projects. In reviewing applications, we hope to see a demonstrated experience providing this type of services, that the applying organization or partnership of organizations are able to demonstrate readiness and a history of embeddedness in communities in King County. A brief note on the timeline. We're currently on the March 28th information session. Please submit all questions via Zoom grants by April 9th. Applications are due by 3 p.m. on April 16th. Following that deadline, we will have our panelists review applications from April 17th to May 2nd. If interviews are recommended, they will be conducted May 6th to May 8th. And applicants and non-selected applicants will be notified towards the end of May 2024. We anticipate contract negotiations to begin in June 2024 for a contract start date of July 1st. Applicants will be assessed based on the rating criteria, which is outlined within the RFA. You can see section 7. Then the narrative questions are based around two major components. The first is knowledge and experience applying key frameworks, and the second is supportive environments. All the applications will be reviewed and scored by this panel made of community members, subject matter experts, and King County staff. They will also closely follow that scoring rubric, and all these proposals submitted will go through a formal review process, and the appeals process is outlined in the RFA. To access the application and submit your proposal, you can submit it on Zoom Grants. I will see if once I'm out of screen share, if I can drop that link in the chat for you to make it a little bit easier. Any questions, please, we'll have a portion at the end of the session, but we will also have the opportunity to ask questions to the Contact Admin tab in Zoom Grants. That will direct an email directly to our RFA lead, which is Philip Thompson. And then all questions will be received, will be posted with responses as an addendum on Zoom Grants. Some tips as to check out the documents attachments. You can look around the Zoom Grants library and the glossary of terms. Attachments A and B can give you a preview to what the application questions will be. You can use attachment C to complete that 3-year budget, and please remember that narrative section. And you'll find the documents tab to upload those supportive documents. A quick reminder for everyone who's applying to also be sure you signed a copy of the acceptance of potential terms and conditions, which is one of those attachments included. And now I'm going to stop sharing and see if there are any questions. And as a reminder, after this opportunity, we'll make sure to get some of this information up on the blog, and you can always also access Zoom Grants for follow-up questions.